So here we are at 12:30 on a Monday afternoon. Welcome to Thrive Live. So for those of you that do not know me and you do not know my work, my name is Cora Darlington and I'm a burnout breakthrough specialist, and I specifically work with passionate female entrepreneurs that are ready to give up the struggle and begin to define what it is to have it all in life and business for them. Okay, so that's the hint for them, because it will be vastly different from one woman to the next. So I basically help you to have all of the success without the sacrifice, without the struggle, and without the shit show that very often goes with it. So here we are at episode 2. Is fear stopping you from living your life and creating your business the way that you really want it to? So we're really going to dive in on that. But before we do that, I'm just going to quickly remind you that as soon as today's episode is over, I will be posting a few links in the comments underneath. One will be to book a call with me if you want to explore what it's like to work with me and the options for that. And then the second link is to be able to book in on a free masterclass that I run all the time. And I've got one running this Thursday morning at 11 o'clock. There's a few spaces on there. So if you want to jump on that, click the link and book in. Okay, so let's get going. The chances are right now you are not living your life or running your business the way that you really want to. Even more than that, you are more than likely living the way someone else thinks that you should live. So in a really, really strong statement, what I'm saying is your life is not your own and you are not in charge. Now, that is a really, really strong statement to make. And so I really want to talk to you about the reasons for this, the reasons why this is happening. Number one, we really, really care what people think. And we really, really care about how we're perceived by others. Now, here is a really big truth bomb that I want you to hear. How we are perceived by others and what other people think about us is absolutely nothing to do with us. It can feel personal, it seems personal, but it's not personal. People will make up their mind about you and your life and your business depending on what is going on for them. Nothing to do with you at all. So they will have all sorts of things going on in their own lives, all sorts of perceptions of their own, and they'll be overlaying that onto you. So if there is nothing that you can do about it, and if it isn't even about you, then why do we even try? Because caring about what other people think, how we're perceived by others, is a massive, massive energy drain. So I work with one-to-one clients that are already in massive burnout. And one of the reasons why they're in burnout is because there's energy going absolutely everywhere, energy hemorrhaging everywhere. And this is one of the areas that their energy is hemorrhaging. Way too much thought and care about what other people think, about the way that you live your life and the way that you are running your business. Number two, we are waiting for others to give us the permission to live our lives the way we want to live. We are waiting for others to give us what we want and need. Massive truth bomb, they are not going to. Now, that doesn't mean that people in your life are bad. It doesn't mean that they're wrong. It just means that they've got lots of other things going on in their own lives. And it's not their responsibility to give you permission to do and be anything. You are the permission. I spoke about this on the last episode. And one of the other reasons why we are not giving ourselves what we want and need is because very often we don't know what that is anymore. And that's going to be another episode, and I'll talk to you about that again because that's a really, really big one. Okay, number 3, we are institutionalized. So if you think about it, from the moment that we begin to go to school, we are told when we start in the morning, we're told when we can have our breaks, we're told when we can have our lunch, we're told when we can go home. And that institutionalization starts really early, and it continues, if we're not conscious of it, all the way through our working lives. So we go and we work in an office and we're told what time to be in, and we're told what time to clock in and what time to have lunch. And culturally, there's like a framework for life, for work and for business. And we, without realizing it, adhere to that without ever asking ourselves the question, is that actually what we want? Is that actually how we want to live our lives? And I want to give you a live example of this, because this is important. And when I give you a live example, it helps contextualize it. So I'm going to give you an example of a client of mine called Lena. So Lena is a software engineer. She runs her own business. And she also, on top of that, is a woman that loves adventure. So she sailed around the world. She is an incredible adventurer and a wanderer, is how I would describe her. Now, when I started to work with Lena, she was just making the jump from working in an organization to working for herself, because, as lots of my clients will say that now work for themselves, I left an organization because the organization was just draining the life out of me. But we are so institutionalized that when we start up our own businesses, within a couple of months, we've created the same bondage again, right? Because we don't know how to live outside the box. We don't know how to create something different. And exactly the same with Lena. So when Lena was showing me her plans to scale the business for the next year, and we were talking about the energy management of that, when I spoken to Lena about everything that was important to her, and that included being able to go on these trips, and because those trips were the things that gave her the inspiration for her business, all of her ideas, so really, really important part of the whole thing. There was no space whatsoever for Lena to do any of that, to honor any of the adventurer or honor any of the wanderer that she is, right? Which is wholehearted living, is like really taking notice about who you are, what juices you up, what makes you tick, and giving yourself those things. And so when we began to look at how she could become the architect of her own life experience, right, which is what I'm all about, the way that she now models her business is very, very different. So for 9 months of the year, she's in her business. For 3 months of the year, she's out of her business and traveling. Obviously with COVID going on at the moment, it's different. But that is how she's recreated her business, with herself in the center of it all. Again, I'm going to do loads of episodes, and this is going to be one of them. We don't build our lives and our businesses to support us and serve us. We don't build them in such a way to support how we want to feel. We don't realize that we can absolutely be the architect of our own lives, but you can be if you will choose to be. Okay, so some questions for you, and I'm always going to ask you questions because you have got the answers to all of this for yourself, and I really want you to tap into your own inner knowing and your own inner wisdom around this stuff, okay, because this is your life. So question number one, and remember, you can watch the playback of this and revisit these questions. So number one, ask yourself this: if I no longer cared about what people thought about me, my life and my business. So if I no longer cared about what people thought about me, my life and my business, what would I be doing differently? What would I be doing differently? So if just for a minute you can suspend thinking even for a second about how that's perceived by anybody else, what will people think? If I go to a 4-day week, will people think I'm lazy? All of that stuff. What would you be doing differently if it didn't matter a jot what other people were doing, what other people were thinking, how other people were perceiving you? It's a really powerful question to be with. So that's question one. Question two: where can I see that I am waiting for others to give me permission to live my life and run my business the way I want to? So where am I giving my power away? Where am I waiting for the permission? So sometimes, especially when we're talking about giving ourselves permission in our life and in our business to give ourselves what we need, we are very often stuck in the world of wanting to be right. How does that look? So you're waiting for somebody else to say, you're working too hard, you really should take a break. Or how about starting later and doing something for yourself in the morning? We're waiting for people to give us permission. We're thinking, well, they should notice, well, they should know, especially our partners. They should know what I need, but they're not going to give you the permission, and they don't know. The only person that knows how you really want to live, how you really want to be, is you, and you are the permission to give yourself that. So where can I see that I am waiting for others to give me permission to live my life and run my business the way I want to? So where can you see you're giving your power away in your life and in your business? And then number 3, and I very quickly hinted at this just earlier on in this episode, becoming the architect of your own life, really becoming the architect of your own life and business. That means really building it with you in the center. You have to have a strong knowing about who you are and what you need and what is most important to you. Because without that relationship with yourself, how do you know what you need? How do you know what to create for yourself? So without asking yourself some of those questions, you have not even got a start position. So this next question is a start position for you to get to know what it is that you want. And we're going to start with feeling, okay? So I want you to ask yourself these questions. How do I want to feel in my life and in my business? So how do I want to feel in my life and in my business? Because it's important, okay? So we're all out there goal orientated. I want to achieve this, I want to achieve that. And I'm not going to war with goals and desires. It's how it's supposed to be. But the problem is when it's all about that and we're not paying attention to how we feel every single day in our lives. Otherwise, what is the point in trying to achieve anything? Because we buy into this dangling carrot that says, when I've achieved that, then I will feel. Oh, when I've done that, then I will allow. And it is a lie. We have to pay attention to how we feel. How do you feel when you get up in the morning? Are you dreading going into your day, or are you excited? As you go through your day doing all the things, how are you feeling? Are you feeling dead behind the eyes, or are you feeling engaged? And are you feeling present? And are you feeling alive, or are you feeling exhausted? And when you go to bed at night, are you going to bed authentically grateful, or are you just face planting into the pillow with exhaustion? Because I know for sure that when I was going through my burnout, that's exactly how I was existing. Okay, so let's just start with that. How do I want to feel in my life and business? Really important that you can just be with that question and identify what that is for you. Everybody is so vastly different. This is the thing. The follow-up to that is, what has me feeling those ways? So once you've identified how you want to feel in your life and business, which is massively important, then you identify what has me feeling those ways. So if I want to feel more relaxed, what has me feeling more relaxed? If I want to feel more excited, what has me feeling more excited? If I want to feel more spacious, what has me feeling spacious? Okay. And once you've answered that, I want you to check in to see if any of those things are featured in your life at all. So all of those things that you've identified, have you feeling the way you want to feel? Check in to see if any of those things are featured in your life at all. And if they are they in there consistently? Because this is, we can ask ourselves how we want to feel in our lives. But then very often what we'll do is give our power away, because we'll say, well, I want to feel this way. And now life, I would like you to position yourself in such a way that allows me to feel that way. But that is not empowerment. That is not self-empowerment. That's not life architecture. That's not taking control of your life. That's hanging your power over there to something external that you cannot control. But you can control you. And that is what we're talking about here. You can steer you absolutely every single day. So not only are you asking yourself how you want to feel, what are the things that help you feel that way? And then, you move into giving yourself those things, right? And if you are letting go of how you are perceived by others and what other people think, it is easier to do that. Okay? So I want you to be with and ask yourself those questions and take your life back. Think about, this is a tip. Your life and business should be completely created around you. who you are, what is important, your own needs. It seems like the obvious statement, but we are not living like that. I can tell you for sure we're not living like that. The women that I work with will tell you that is not a thing, that they're living like that, but you can live like that. Okay. So that's it for this week. Next week, I will be talking to you about how your mind is running you ragged. So I'll be talking about the dysfunctional relationship that we have with our minds, how it is running you absolutely ragged, and that will be a massive energy drain for you as well, and what you can do about it. Okay, so next week I'll be talking about how your mind is running you ragged and what you can do about it. So before I go, don't forget, the links will be up in the comment box as soon as I finish. One to book in a call with me if you want to look at that. And the next one to book in with me for the masterclass. I've got the next one this Thursday at 11 a.m. There's a few spaces where I'm going to be unpacking in detail what it takes to take back control of your life and how. So in much more detail. I am wishing you the loveliest of afternoons, and I will see you next week.